And here we go. Gonna throw in a link for voting on the character who most go. Gonna throw in who most inspired you guys today. Just like last week, because that's fun. Also, I need to put on the musics for today's for right now. Sorry. Okay, that should do it. So, hello everyone. Last time here in Settlers of Nolyn, we left off after a very harrowing encounter. Underground. Apparently, in what you guys first thought was an excavation, and then you figure out it was a Saint-Fidang ruins / abandoned old temple, which then found out to be a temple to Eaglebath, his final resting place, which then found out to have been built atop another bigger temple, which is the Almighty's tomb, where all of the Almighties have been interred. After finding that, you also found a big cluster of Saint-Fidang who have also been housing other creatures, other folks, not only Saint-Fidang, but humans and dwarves and elves and people from the surface. You have met Washea, the leader of this group of Saint-Fidang here, residing underneath the big forest. She has talked to you guys, explained a little bit of their situation, explained that she needed your help to defeat the guardian that was accidentally released and is stopping everyone from being able to move around. And she also talked to you guys about how Branislav and the Dark Brotherhood, the followers of Eaglebath, are planning something terrible, and they have been taking in people and housing them down here. Many refugees. Because when the Fivenit comes in about some 6 days, they'll be safe from the dangers of the surface and whatever else might be unleashed during those 5 dark days. You also met Joffrey de Zeron, a princeling, a nobleman coming from Solfak back in the mainland. He is a diplomat who came over here to these lands with a mission of his own, and eventually he found his way here in the underground alongside all of these Saint-Fidangs, and he has aided you in defeating the Temple Guardian, another beholder that had its own beholder minions, where you fought bravely. Flint unfortunately fell during combat, but was quickly brought back to life by Summerlad, but not before having a very harrowing near death or afterlife-ish sort of experience. And then, after defeating the Guardian, Washea, who had joined you during the combat, she took a deep breath of relief, walked off into the distance towards the balcony and opened it, and on the other side you have seen this underground Saint-Fidang city where they are housing all of their kind. And that is where we last left off, everyone. So, Bing Squad, as you now find yourselves in this underground place, now sitting amongst your companions and Joffridus, apparently who has decided to aid you guys in this, and Washay, who just turns to all of you with a somewhat expectant look, but also a look of we're not done yet with all of this. She nods once again and says, "Thank you. I know this was hard on you, but without your help it would have been impossible for us. I don't know that I will ever be able to repay you for your kindness and bravery. If there isn't ever anything I can do to help you, just let us know, and we will help you." So that's where we left off. And Bean Squad, what do you do?
I'm just kind of staring in awe of the whole giant tower of buildings and stuff that we can see from this view. And I'm just looking and I'm like, is this actually the a city of the Symphidine? An actual one that it hasn't become into ruins? And I'm just kind of looking up and down, trying to see everything I can out from the ledge of the platform.
Matthias, go ahead and make a perception check. It is kind of dark down here, but you do have dark vision, so it's just a straight roll. 8. All right.
8. Terrible.
Yeah. Off to a good start. But no worries. You do look around the. You do look around in this from the balcony, looking left and right, and you can see that all of you are in this balcony in this kind of old temple, this sort of building. It kind of keeps going down a little bit further, like 2-3 more stories before coming into solid ground. And then you can see that this temple that you're in is actually built on top of a hill. And then it goes downhill, and there's a lot of small constructions on the way as this hill goes down and then levels off into the beginning of this big city full of other buildings, staircases all over the place. And as you're looking, at this point you're kind of just lost in details, seeing everything around you, and it's just quite overwhelming. But Washay, she walks up to you, Matthias, and she starts saying, "This is our city. It was always here. Unfortunately, like we said, one day our cities just sank underground. And when they did, only our cities sunk and the surface remained where it was. And we had no way of bringing our cities back to the top, so our ancestors, they started building buildings on top of buildings to make a sort of a roof to guard our cities when the ground started to solidify itself, and eventually we were forgotten in the underground. But we kept our way of life. It's not great. It's not as luscious as it was on the surface from the stories that we have heard and from what we have been able to see in our seldom excursions to the surface, but this is our city, and it has been here for over over 1,000 years.
I nod in acknowledgement, looking out as far as I can, and so it just sank. That is there any tale of when it actually happened, like the year or maybe the time of year? I mean, because it's interesting that a whole entire city would just sink into the ground.
It's unfortunately. Hello, window whistle. I missed you.
Really loud today, isn't it?
It is. Uh. So Washay, she just goes, well, that is unfortunately stories of old that were lost to time. Our city is what it is today, and this is how I have always known it for as long as I have been alive. But stories of old are also tell of the city being the way it is, and only older and much older stories from before the ascension tells of this city still being on the surface. But those stories are very old and very fragmented, and at this point we don't know how factual and true they are. They don't have a whole lot of details on them, and it is unfortunately lost knowledge at this point for us. And Matthias, now that you keep looking around and you look up from this balcony where you are, you can see kind of the same architecture going the other way around. As you look up, you do see that this temple you are in, there are buildings kind of jutting outwards above you, kind of in the same way as in the city, and it keeps going up and doing sort of like an inverted pyramid all the way to the top. And as you came down here, indeed you have been over this very large and expensive dungeon / ruins, and you get the sense that this whole temple here has sort of been abandoned compared to the rest of this whole city here. But regardless, Washay keeps saying, this is our life, and it has been our life for centuries now, and I don't know that we would be able to change our ways back to the surface even if we wanted. We just accepted that this is what it is. But in any case, is there anything I can do to you? You said you had questions, and well, if you have questions, I'll try my best to answer them.
Grath has a question.
Yes, what is your question, courageous one?
You say other people are here, other people that the Brotherhood were after. Maybe my folks are here? Do you know Elanus and Elizabeth from Hokangan?
You can see now that Washay kind of looks all over you guys' face, a little bit lost, and she doesn't want to show it, but she is. You get the sense that she is trying to hide the fact that she does not know these people that you're talking about. I can't say for sure that I know of them or that they are here, but you are free to look around if you would like. You are more than welcome to walk our halls and our roads if whoever you think it is, if you want to seek whoever you think it is over here. And she and she starts walking back inside with the rest of you, kind of guiding you guys inwards. And as she does, you guys can also see that some other Symphony are guardian Symphony who are wearing armor and wielding spears and swords and bows. They are also coming up. They don't look like very accomplished warriors for you, but you imagine that this is the only line of defense that these folks have. But as they come up, you can see that now other citizens and civilian symphonies are also coming up here into this temple, and they're looking around, kind of worried, but also relieved to see that the danger has been dealt with. But she keeps guiding you guys down all the way through the temple, and then into that corridor with the barrels, and down the stairs through some illusory walls as people keep going past them, and you go back into that large room with a lot of refugees. And you can see that at this point a lot of them have finally wandered out into other rooms, and some people are picking up their belongings and trying to go down into the city, which until then was kind of blocked. People couldn't go to the city with these guardians walking around, and now they can finally make their way back. And you can see this large room with the refugees a little bit cleared out now. Graph.
Yes.
Make a perception check as you look around. Oh no.
Grath is blind man today.
The Rangers are worn out. We're kind of very not perceptive right now.
I mean, if you made your favorite terrain on the Underdark, that wouldn't be helpful for you. But no.
Sadly, with the new rules, there is no more favored terrain.
Oh yeah, that is right. I wouldn't know. In any case, Graph, you start looking around, and as you look around, you start shouting out your parents' names, looking around all over the place, and you can't really find them. You shout out
that I have a picture of them.
Yes,
I will show them to people as well.
Okay, so as you keep shouting out their names, there is no response. But as people look at you and see you kind of shouting out, and you pick out the wood carving in your locket and show it to people, there is one person who looks at it and says, "Oh, are you looking for them? These two people? Do you know who they are?"
Yes, they're my folks.
There was this girl. You're talking to a human man who is kind of lost as to what is happening exactly. But from his look, he seems to have been around here for a while, and he looks around trying to see if he can find someone else. It says there was this Symphony girl, Moira. She is the one that takes care of people, and I believe that she had taken in people that look just like those there you have in your locket.
Do you know where Moria is?
I guess she's back in the Symphony City. It's kind of been blocked for a while now, and we had not really had a way to go to them. But I would imagine that all of these people that are taking off are going over there right now.
Wait, there's more in the city? Oh my gosh.
Come again?
Grath thanks the man. Thank you.
Oh, sure, you're welcome. And the man just kind of nonchalantly looks at you and nods and doesn't really quite seem to understand the emotions that you're showing up now as you, Graph, starts looking around for guidance to see where all of these people are flocking towards, and you see that they are clearing out some barrels in the main corridor to take staircases to another side. And as soon as these barriers are cleared out and people start making their way back to the city, I would imagine that you do follow along with them, right?
Oh, yes, and I'm trying to get Dracon to go as well. I go back to Dracon and I say, Dracon, your mentor may be here as well. Moria takes care of the people that come to this city.
What? Kendra's here?
He might be. Found man. They say that my parents are here.
Where? I need to know now. Tell me.
In the city. I point forward toward the city. Moria. We have to find Moria.
Okay, I just have to say this first. When you say Moria, it sounds exactly like a support from Overwatch.
Oh no. Let me throw up her name in chat, just for the archivers out there.
Thank you, Doug.
Moira.
Okay, there are 2 vowels. Okay, there are 3 vowels.
Moria.
Wait, there are a lot of vowels.
Lots of vowels. So
Lots of
vowels.
I don't know that Y is actually a vowel, but sure.
It's the rule of Y is it's sometimes a vowel depending on its use.
Oh, there you go. So now all of these people start making their way downstairs into this side chamber, and you guys follow them. Kind of this big flock of people going forth and excited and anxious to finally go back into their city that they were unable to access for quite a while now. Before you go, I would say that all of the Bean Squad is going with them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Dracon is.
Yeah.
Because I kind of want to see the city. I'm kind of almost fascinated by an underground city. It's one of the first thing. It's one like really new things I've never seen before. So, Thias is I'm very interested in how this is all here. Just like taking it in.
Okay, so
I'm gonna walk up to Washe for a minute and ask her a question.
Flint would only be going along because Groth is going along. He's still very listless at the moment.
Okay, so you guys leave all of the dead bodies from the enemies behind and start making your way towards the city. But before you do, Draken, you do find Washea,
I think Fel would try and get the Beholder's teeth.
He already got it last session.
Oh, he got it?
Yes, last time.
Yeah, Fel ripped those teeth out like nobody's business.
Yeah, he gave me
He
one
was
of
a little
them.
pissed off. Yes.
He actually chipped, well, altogether you guys chipped 8 teeth from the Beholder, pretty much one for each one of you. I don't know if you distributed it that way, but you have 8 teeth, or at least I think Fel does. In any case, Drake and you approach Washeo, who's now starting to direct the Guardians Infidane to some of them to dispose of these bodies and make sure that these traps that were set off and summoned them are still disabled and won't do this again. And she's also sending some other Infidane Guardians who look more the part of a scout to go back up and out of the temple into the surface to check the surroundings and see if there are any Infidane stranded on the outside who were just waiting for some clue, some signal that they could go back in. And she's kind of just handling and directing people, but she sees you approaching and says, "Oh yes, hello. What can I help you with?"
Yeah. I know you're a little busy, but I'm wondering if you'd give me some insight into that tablet where Igglebeth's coffin used to be. We've been finding messages on that throughout the temple above. Do you know what that's about?
Yes. You see, I really don't want to bore you with details, but I am a keeper of the lore as were my parents. It is our job to learn and pass forward to the next generation the lore of our people, the symphony. And older keepers, they have interred all of the Almighty here. I don't even know. This is a part of our history that is a little bit spotty. Eventually, the city, this temple where we currently stand in, was a resting place for all of the Almighty. This is where was their last destination in their heroic journey. And eventually, from what we gather from our records and stories that have been told time and time again throughout generations, eventually Igobeth grew scorned and resentful of the fate that befell him and the betrayal of his favorite goddess. So his followers decided to take away his tomb and seal this whole place and build a temple only for Igobeth atop this one.
Okay, when you say his goddess, are you talking about Cosme or are you talking about Acanthus?
Our stories tell us that Hakapfagan was his beloved one, and she betrayed him, and Igobeth decided to go away from this place, and so his followers took away his tomb and brought it elsewhere. And also they left behind the story of Igobeth and what he did. So those tablets you have found, they are part of our history that we have been trying to piece together little by little and understand and envision. But they are our history.
So it's the followers of Igobeth that wrote those tablets, correct?
Yes, but that is the biggest problem. We can't be sure that the story that they wrote is fact or even the whole truth. All we know for sure is that they wrote the history of how Igobeth was betrayed and left to work on his own instead of working with the other Almighty. But we are mere mortals, and only the gods themselves know the truth of what happened.
Okay, is Cosme evil?
Lilith, you are asking this, right?
Yeah, she's a little quiet right now, so I'm kind of asking for her since she's not in the talking mood.
Okay, so Lilith, you ask if Cosme is evil because Branislav was trying to unleash evil, and you see now this very heavy, ponderous look upon Washaze's face as she is trying to digest your question and formulate the best possible answer to give to you. I wouldn't say that Cosme is evil per se. Cosme is chaos. Cosme is the universe itself. everything that is Cosme. And I don't know what Branislav is trying to do, but he is trying to tamper with things that not even the Almighty could fully understand and control. Cosme, from what our stories tell us, Cosme is the first god, the heart of the world, and he was born out of collective belief. And all the people that worshipped Cosmo were trying to find sense in all the chaos that exists within our world and that has existed since forever. But people, especially Hakapfagan, she believes that Cosmo was too chaotic. It was not gonna allow mortal kind to advance and do better, that chaos would keep tearing things down and returning the world to its neutral self. And Hakapfagan, she had visions for a future where chaos wouldn't undo what mortal kind tried to build, and she decided to lead a group of followers and devout into stopping Cosmo and locking it away. And they did. They gathered a lot of followers, a lot of power. They managed to dwindle belief in Cosmo, but it wasn't enough to do that. If our stories of Igobeth followers are to be believed, Igobeth was the only one true disciple of Cosmo who knew the truth about it. The only one who knew how to lock Cosmo away, and Hakapfagan either convinced him or tricked him into giving away said secret, which he eventually did, and that's how they locked away Cosmo. But then the true believers of Cosmo were not gonna let that stand, and they have slayed her. They killed Hakapfagan for her betrayal to what is Cosmo. And that's when she ascended into godhood. After she died, her followers, her most devout and closest of friends, Igobeth included, started worshipping her, and that's where her powers came from. As she learned how to harness the powers of Cosmo in the afterlife. And then one by one, all of her followers ended up also dying and ascending into godhood, and Igobeth was left behind. He tried to communion with her and ask her to undo what she did to Cosmo and let Cosmo free, let the world go back to what it was and what it was meant to be. But she didn't heed him. And therefore, Igobeth went away to seek his own destiny without the other Almighties. And that's when Igobeth's followers built this tomb for him for when he finally died. Which, when he did, he also, through the powers of Cosmo, ascended into godhood as well. But unlike the other Almighty, Igobeth didn't really focus on mortal kind, but rather into bringing back Cosmo. We don't know why exactly. These are the stories that we, the keepers, have kept telling our children and our children's children for time and time again. We don't know the Almighty's motivations for doing what they did, but we have their stories, and that's all we have. That's the only clue we have to our past and what came before. I'm afraid it isn't too interesting a story for some of you who don't even relate that much to the Almighty, but that's my job as a keeper, is to keep these stories and learn them as best I can from my parents and from exploring the world, and then passing them on to the next generation. Sorry, does that answers your question, or?
It does. It also raises a few others, but those are lesser questions. Thank you.
Oh, you are more than welcome. If there is anything else you would like to know, I would apologize for not having the most factual knowledge, but whatever knowledge I have, I will be more than glad to share with you and yours. As a keeper, that is my job. And so from what you gather, by what Shay tells you, Lilith, most of your assumptions on the Almighties were correct. Indeed, things have happened more or less as you described, with Kapfagan having a vision of a world where Cosmo isn't the dominant force anymore. She worked her way to make that vision come true, but Cosmos' followers struck her down. And then she ascended into godhood, the first ascended, and then all of her followers, one after another, ascended as well to make sure that her vision comes true. And Igobeth was the last of the ascended, but he was also the Scorned god who disagreed with her vision after seeing what the world has come to. After all, the heart of the world was snuffed, and Igobeth started seeing that Cosmo needs to exist for whatever reason. And then Igobeth went away, and that is possibly one of the reasons why Igobeth isn't really widely worshipped in the mainlands and everywhere else, you know. Igobeth, since he is related with death and very fanatic followers, people don't really accept worship of Igobeth that much. rulers and whatnot, they try to snuff out whatever belief there is. And make a religion check, Lilith. If you can. Wow, today's a day for low rolls. As best as you can remember, in the mainland, Lignia was the kingdom who openly worshipped Eaglebeth. But because it was surrounded by other many kingdoms who did not worship Eaglebeth or accept it, their influence was very small and thin, and very weak. And in every other kingdom in the mainland that you have known, Eaglebeth is not worshipped at all. You have heard tales here and there that the southern kingdoms across the ocean worship Eaglebeth, but you have never been there, and you don't really see a whole lot of reason to even learn much about that place in your life. You hadn't seen any reason thus far, so you don't know a whole lot about them and their customs. But anyway, after Washay finally finishes dumping all this lore into you guys, Drake and Lilith, I believe you guys go back with the rest of the party who's going down into the city, following Graf.
Yes. Dracon just kind of wide-eyed and walking away like, oh shit, what?
Somewhat overwhelmed by the amount of information, but the both of you just rejoin the party and walk with them, kind of pondering the meaning of all of this. Matthias, as you are following Graf, who seems to be very, very determined to find this more person, you still find time to look around, and you see that this temple, like I said, it was built on top of this hill, and as you go down the hill, there's many other houses and small buildings along the way into a path that goes up and down the hill. But then as soon as this path kind of goes down the hill and levels into the city, you do find this kind of gigantic metropolis down here on the underground. It's not ridiculously big, but looking around you do see that you estimate by your knowledge of space and how many people can exist within a space, and your knowledge of cities as you have gone through a few in the past, you estimate that here could possibly exist around 4,000 safe day.
Wow. Okay. That's actually really amazing. I mean,
the city, as soon as as the road kind of reaches the edges of the city, it forks off to both sides, left and right, and then also a road that keeps on going straight ahead into the heart of the city, and you start seeing more and more buildings that keep rising higher and higher. And the further in you go, you start to see that buildings are built on top of another, and there are roads and kind of tunnels that are formed by the buildings themselves and their placement that keeps going in, and has sort of a slum-ish feel to the way that these buildings are constructed, kind of on top of one another. But as you keep going, you see that they are fairly organized and actually very well built. As you keep going through the city, going deeper and deeper into the city, you start going up certain steps, up the steps. As you see that the closer in you get to the center of the city, it kind of elevates itself. You find that the main road kind of goes upwards into the city, and then you start reaching those bigger and more ostentatious buildings in the sort of in the center. In there, you do find one big temple of sorts. It doesn't look. The construction is similar to these temples you have seen before, the Tomb of the Almighty, but this temple is a little bit more not so run down. It has been maintained constantly, and you see that this is sort of a hospital of sorts for treating people, and also a place of worship. Yes?
Can I ask what temple to what god?
From what you can see around, you see a lot of motifs that worship Eaglebeth.
Okay.
And Draco, now that you actually stop and look around, you do see that many of these houses have Eaglebeth symbols and motifs built all over the place, and you get the sense that this Saint-Fidèle society is... well, they really, really dig the idea of Eaglebeth. However,
Okay.
you don't really get the sense that these people are like the Dark Brotherhood at all. You get the sense that these people here, they worship the positive sides of Eaglebeth. The fact that Eaglebeth protects them in the night, since they are they have a certain weakness to the sun, and Eaglebeth is closely associated with the moon, with the afterlife as well, since the Saint-Fidèle has seen their people be forgotten and have been slowly dying off for a whole lot. You can see that they take solace in knowing that Eaglebeth, that once was one of them, is watching over their species in the afterlife, and there's a lot of positivity around Eaglebeth that this Saint-Fidèle here seems to adore and find comfort in. So, as you get into this center, after being directed by several people who as soon as you shout out the name more, they start pointing off in this direction, you do reach this place. This temple, who has a lot of people kind of sat down in kind of sort of couches and beds, makeshift beds, and here and there. And you do see a lot of people who are not Saint-Fidèles, humans and elves and dwarves who are very injured. Some of them have actually, who is leading this? I would say Graf, you're leading this. Make a perception check. Oh, there you go. Finally a good roll. You can see many of these people who are here inside and around the temple. They have shackle marks in their wrists, and some around their necks as well. All of these who are not Saint-Fidèles, the humans, the elves. You do start also seeing a lot of, well, not a lot, but you do start seeing some kobolds and goblins who also had shackle marks around their wrists and necks.
Grath remembers someone told us that they were taking those for workers.
Yes. You do also see some Zwerfnablings and Hobgoblins and other quote-unquote indigenous races. And eventually you do find Mora, who resembles Washea quite a lot. She seems to have more or less the same facial structure, except that her hair is kind of just loose on her back, braided in a single braid. She seems to be wearing deep dark and purple robes that kind of resembles a physician's robe. And she turns around and she looks at all of you now coming into the temple and says, "Well, how can I help you? Do any of you need assistance?"
Grath needs assistance. Grath is looking for these people. And he shows her the picture.
Oh, sure. Let me see. As she looks into the wood carving that you carry with you, she thinks for a while and says, "Oh, yes, these people are here. Do you know
They're
them?"
alive? Yes. Yes, they're my parents.
Oh. Oh, yes, they are alive, but I'm really sorry, but they are not in a good situation right now. Please
What's
follow.
wrong?
Please follow me. And
Grath follows her.
Graf, she leads you and whoever else wishes to
I'm
come.
following behind Grath.
I would probably be following Grath for my own questions, but
I'll be following him too.
Yeah, I'll be there too.
Okay, so the whole group comes with you, Graf, following you closely behind as Mora, she leads you into this kind of partition division with further into this temple. As you go all the way into the temple, you do see that there are rooms in the back, and she leads you into before going into the rooms, where you can see there's some sort of like a makeshift kitchen and storage space. A little bit before those rooms, there is a little partition where you do find sitting in a couch, two humans, who, Graf, you instantly recognize as Elenius and Lisbeth. They are sitting there, kind of just looking to the ground, not really paying attention to their surroundings.
Ma! Pa! And run over to them.
Mora kind of goes to lift her hand and say some words, but before she does, you run towards her parents, who do also have shackle marks around their wrists. But other than that, they don't look that bad physically. Except that, Graf, when you approach them, as you approach your parents, Lisbeth, she looks up to you, and you can see that her eyes looks distant. She has this sort of tired look on her face, but not quite tired. It's more as if she's sleepy and not thinking straight. But it takes some time for her eyes to look around the room and then eventually focus on you, and she goes, "Oh, Garrett, my baby boy, did you run like Mama told you to?"
I did.
"Ah, good boy. I knew you would run." And she just sits there staring at you.
What's wrong?
"Nothing's wrong anymore. You ran just like Mama told you to." And now Elenius, he turns around as well, looking towards you, and looks up to your face and says, "Hey, kiddo. I think your mom needs your help. Can you go look over her for me, kiddo? I know
Yes.
I know you will do us proud, Gareth, like you have always done." And they just kind of look at you with these distant stares.
what's wrong with them?
Can I roll medicine to know what's wrong with them?
before you do, Sam, Lilith, as you turn around and ask Mora what's wrong with them, she just goes and, well, I don't really know. They're this. They were brought here a while ago. Apparently, in back, someone was using some sort of mind control magic to turn all of these people, these poor people, into workers and slaves, and I'm afraid that in trying to break this mental control over them, some of them might have been left in a very poor position. I really don't know what is wrong with them, other than that they seem to be somewhat stupefied and a nearly catatonic state. Summerlad
goes up to Summerlad and says, "Can you fix them? Can you fix them like Flint?"
I can try, but Doug, do I know anything about this? Do I know if I can fix this?
Make a medicine check, Summerlad.
Okay.
$14, alright. So, Summerlad, as you approach Alanias and Lisbeth, apparently, and try to watch over them, looking for any hints, any clues as to what might be going on with them, as you approach them and kind of as gently as you can, you hold them by the shoulders and try to move them a little bit, turning their heads to one side and to another. And as you step aside a little bit, Elizabeth, she just looks at you and says to you, Summerland, "Who are you? Have you seen my boy Gareth? I told him to run." And Summerlad, you have not really that much of idea of what's going on, but they do seem, it does seem like there's some residual magic that has affected their mental capabilities. You do get a sense, Summerlad, that you could try some sort of restoration spells to aid them.
Graf, I will say to you that I can fix them, but I need a little time to prepare the ingredients for it.
What do you need?
Well, I'd need to at least spend the night to prepare the spell that I'd need. However, Dracon, you know your way around jewels. You can speak in the voice chat, Draco?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Okay, Summerlight is asking Dracon if he knows his way around jewels, if he has proficiency with jewelry.
Yeah, I know my way around jewels.
So what I think would work is that there is a spell that requires a bit of diamond dust for me, and I need it grinded. However, I do not have diamond dust, so I'd be wondering if you could help.
You find diamonds, I can make dust.
I have a diamond here.
um, why do you need diamond dust? I'm just curious.
There is a spell known as Greater Restoration. It is a upgrade of a lesser spell that I know, and I believe that it would be a spell that could help restore these two.
How? What is the greater restoration cost and component?
100 GP of diamond dust.
Okay, that is a lot of money.
I'm gonna need to find diamonds.
I have a 1000 GP diamonds here. By the way, Doug, I have a
Yes?
question. Revivify only costs a diamond of 300 GP, but the one that I had was 500. Did any pieces of the diamonds get left behind?
No, it
Yeah.
costs a diamond of at least revivify. There we go. It costs
It's at least 300.
at least 300, but if the diamond is worth more, the spell will consume the whole diamond.
Okay. Well, I have a 1000 GP diamonds. Could we grind that into smaller dusts that are worth different amount?
We could, but we could also ask the Sanfordines if they come across diamonds since we're underground. But yeah, I could grind up some diamonds.
Well, yeah, we should ask around first. So we have you who could make the dust. I'd need at least 2 days because this spell takes a lot out of me. But I think I could do this just fine.
I understand.
Well, I can say to you that I can fix the graph, just not immediately right now. I need at least days.
It's gonna take time.
Yeah, but they'll be fine. I promise you.
A little tear goes down his face.
I turn to
Graf, as you hear this news and you look at your parents, they look at you more than they look at your friends, and you see this very, very small hint of a glimmering of recognition in their eyes, but there seems to be something clouding their minds and their judgment, and they can't really. You see that they are distant, not of their own will. There is something there that is keeping them away from you, even though you are so close to one another.
I put a hand on Grath's shoulder and I look at him. Someone had said that we can help him. It's gonna take time, but I mean, you can see that they're here and they're safe. Nothing's hurting them now.
I've waited this long. We can wait longer.
I'm really sorry, Grath.
I'm sorry, Graf. But I'll do my best.
I know you will, Summerlad.
I'm gonna turn to Washe and ask her if she's seen Candor, and I will use disguise self to look like.
Sure. Actually, Washe was way farther behind directing people, but sure, I'll say you reach her in time.
I meant Moria, whatever.
Okay.
And I did not learn the first name. It's a new name. I'm bad.
Okay. You do. I will say that you do ask both of them in these two different opportunities. You ask for about Kender.
Yes, I do. And I use disguise self to look like him for Moria.
As you do, Moria, she looks at you in this raccoon form and says, "I'm sorry, but I don't know this person that you're seeking. I'm truly sorry."
Damn it.
However, Draken, as you do, You do hear this voice in a foreign accent behind you saying, I believe I do know that person. Then you turn back to see Joffridus standing there alongside all of you guys. You're looking for Kander.
Yes. Yes, I am. Do you know where he is?
I do. He was there with us and he helped us in back to free all of these poor people, and he helped us in Frontberg to breach the walls and take down their commander. He is on his way to Lundeland to... He said he was gonna finally strike down someone that he's chasing. Is Count Clarken.
Count Clarken, correct?
Scout Clarken.
Scout.
Name in the chat.
Does that name ring any bells?
It does. For you specifically, Draken, it does. You heard that name a long time ago when you first stepped off the boat, when you guys were in the city of Ra, where there's a branch of your Brothers Guild. They did tell you that several months ago, a man by that name had come through this a dog folk man had come through there, and then he left. And then later, Kander also came through there and left, chasing said man into this new world. This name also rings a bell because apparently Clarken is the same last name as a friend of yours who brews beer now.
No, I'm not hunting Oni's dad, am I?
You don't really know. You never really talked to Onel about his family, but they do share a last name.
I turn to Matthias and tell him, my mentor might be hunting down Onel's dad.
What? What do you mean?
I mean, my mentor, Kander.
Okay.
His rival is someone named Scorned Clarken.
Okay.
Onel's last name is Clarken.
Uh-huh.
And they're both dog folk.
Yeah, I get that one. So you're thinking your mentor is going after Onel's father for some reason, or someone related to him.
Yes. I'm really curious why. I've only heard the name one other time.
From what he told us when we asked him to come back with us, Kander told us that he would go to Lundeland to hunt this man and to strike him down. And he did say that he was a high-ranking general in the Dark Brotherhood. So I don't really know who he is. This is Count Clarken, but this man you seek, Kander, is hunting for that man, and they are possibly in Lundeland right now, both of them. And I do believe that this man, if he is a high rank individual within the Dark Brotherhood, that he might also be close to Branislav.
I think we have our target in Lundeland.
We already had many targets in Bloodland.
Yeah, we had many targets, but now we're kind of narrowed down to one to help us with multiple tasks.
I see.
Thank you. I will drop the disguise self. And just mutter in Thieves' Cat, the fuck are you doing, cat?
Joffrey just nods and says, "You're welcome. Glad I could help."
Thank you, Joffrey. By the way, I still need to talk to you about the whole thing going on with the towns.
Well, I figured we have a lot to talk about, all of us. It seems like the path that you travel is the same path as the Golden Trio did. They, however, didn't return here. They pushed on through towards Lundeland, and I'm afraid of what might have become of them. In any case, if you both travel the same path, I believe you are all really capable people. Whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, I feel confident that you will be able to achieve it.
Thank you for that. Dracon's just gonna walk off to a corner, and you're just gonna see him kind of jittery and uneasy, like, oh fucking god.
At this point, everyone's stomachs are churned by this overwhelming discovery, the overwhelming amount of feelings that are going through each and every one of you. By all of this discovery, all of these events, by seeing Draken so much closer to this chase that he has started several months ago. To Graf finally reuniting with his parents, but not quite. With Flint having been mortally wounded and then coming back. To Summerlad learning that he is, after all, the key to it all. Matthias, you have chased the Dark Brotherhood for months as well, and now you're closer than ever. All of you have had many stakes. You all have walked for a long time trying to get here, and now you can see the goal. It is very close to all of you, and yet, so far,
I turn to the rest of the party. I think we need food and we need to talk, because we got too much to do, and I think we're gonna need to talk with Stubhard and just we need rest. We need to talk. We need to have food. We need to do stuff.
Aye, we do. And we'll need to figure out our next plan of attack, because from the way it's sounding like is that, and I agree with Lilith on this, we're gonna need to go to Lundeland. We need to face this off, because it sounds like Brenislav's gonna do something, and I don't know what, but I'm not sure if we can let him do what he's wanting to do.
We need supplies. We need everything. We need to supply up, then we need to head out. I think that's the basic idea. I think Stubhard and the others will be safe here. We just need to let them know they have to be here for a while.
I don't think they're going to complain about that too much.
I mean, we don't really have an option at this point. We're probably not going to make it to the other Sanfandine village before the Fivnet. at all.
At this moment, as all of you guys are starting to huddle together and start discussing plans and options, Graf, as you start to walk away from your parents to join the rest of your party, you do feel a soft tug on your hand, and you look down to see that your mother was holding your hand and looking at you and saying, "Gareth, my young boy, run
Yes,
and
Mom?
hide. Do not let them take you. Run and hide.
I will. I'll run and hide.
Go on,
Wipes a tear away.
go on, Gareth. Make us proud."
I will. I will.
And then you do see Mora come up to you, put a hand on your shoulder, and says, "It's all right. I will take care of them for you until you return." But
Thank you.
don't mention it. I'm really sorry for the situation that your family is in right now. I wish we could do more.
Grath know about all this magic. It messed up their minds, and now he doesn't have them, and they're lost and here at the same time.
We will take care of them, and I assure you, we will find a way to fix them. Don't worry.
Okay.
And as she takes off her hands from your shoulders and holds them in front of her chest, she looks at you, Summerlin, and says, "But you said you can fix them, right?"
Yes, I can fix them if I have the right materials.
And if you don't mind me asking, I didn't catch your name. Who are you?
My name is Summerlet. I am the healer of this party.
Oh, right, Summerlad. Would you mind if I... And she approaches her hand to your face, gently trying to push your hair away, to take a look into your eyes. Do you mind if I... She just approaches her hands to her face. Do you let her?
Yes, I let her approach her hands to my face.
And as she takes up your hair, she looks at your eyes. You see her eyes widen, and there's this look of surprise on her face, and she goes, "Oh, I see. I was right then. You have the eye of clarity, don't you?"
I mean, I guess I never knew anything about this. It's all very new information to me.
Dune. And she shakes her head, trying to collect her thoughts. "I need to talk to my sister. We need to talk. You, me, and my sister. We need to discuss this. This is grand. This is important."
Okay.
Could I ask you to stay around here for a while, around this temple, as I go and seek my sister? That she and me and her, we can really look into your eyes, and it'll help us tremendously.
Okay then. That's fine by me. you guys are going to explore around here? I asked to the party.
Grath is going to be here waiting to see what happens. See if Mom and Pa can be cured.
Graf, you. Well, actually, yeah, you can stay here. I was going to ask that you go and help try and find if there is someone to find the diamonds, but I think there's enough people.
I would probably go to Washe first to ask.
Yeah,
Probably see if there's any way we can find any resources, because it sounds like we're gonna have to do some traveling, and soon.
Well, I'll stay here and talk with her. You guys go explore around and see if you can find anything. I'll do my best from my side. Graf, we can do this.
Uh, at this moment, also Fel and Hentai, both of them who have kind of just been watching this whole situation kind of from afar a little bit. Neither of them have high stakes in here, either with the Dark Brotherhood or with Eaglebeth. And they just nodded and said, "We could look for the diamonds. They could try and pull our weight as well. Help this group here."
That would be welcomed. Thank you.
I would say yes.
Which I can't actually do because
be
I don't
appreciative.
want them to. I don't want to spend players' money buying diamonds. But they will help you.
Well, I'm the banker, so I would give them the money.
Okay. So Fel and Hentai kinda goes off to search for things, components for your greater restoration spells. In the meantime, Mora she she guides you, Summerland, and whoever else, Graf, or apparently Gareth, whoever wishes to accompany you into a side room with several beds, and cleaner beds that seems to be where the temple staff, the temple people, stay in, the healers themselves, not the patients and whoever else they're currently treating. This seems to be a place for the temple folk to stay and rest in, and they are. And Mora, she invites you, Summerlad, Graf, and whoever else wishes to stay in this room and rest, recuperate for as long as you need.
I walk up to Summerlad.
What?
There's something I want to try, and it's really weird. I just want you to just stand still for a minute.
Okay.
And I'm going to touch his eye, the Eye of Clarity, and attempt to cast Identify.
Oh snap! Sure, why don't you? Are you casting it as a ritual, or are you spending a spell slot?
I'm spending a spell slot because we're probably going to rest after this.
Okay, should say so. Draken Boulder. As you approach, it tries to touch Summerled's eye of clarity to try and understand what it is. You get that it's not as easy. Truly get the sense of what this is, as if you were identifying a normal magical item. This here feels different. It feels almost alien in a way. But you do cast Identify, and you get some senses. You do get a sense of innate, dormant capabilities within Summerlight's eye, but you do sense that there is something blocking it. Something foul that feels like a curse of sort seems to block the way between these eyes' capabilities and you being able to tell what they are.
There's a curse on your eye.
I mean, I always knew that, but it's not like it's a normal curse.
No, it's not your eye that's the curse. It's that there's something blocking your eye's natural magic. I can't explain it.
So you're saying like there is a river, but it's somewhat blocked with or clogged with something. It's like that.
Yeah, it's like a dam. But I want to say it's a natural, but I'm not entirely.
I wouldn't know. I never met my real parents, so it could be a blood curse. However, it could also be something that my mother or the Dark Brotherhood puts on me when I didn't know. I stayed there 20 years after.
From identifying it, would I be able to tell how old the curse is?
How old the curse is? Not really. You don't have a point of reference. This isn't like anything you have ever seen before.
Okay. Thanks. Sorry, I thought I could get you more answers than that by doing it.
I mean, you got something pretty good out of it. I never knew that there was a curse that was affecting like that. I thought it was just my body reacting bad to the magic.
I think your body is trying to activate the magic, but the curse is preventing it. If that makes sense.
That could be the case. I mean, I don't know exactly how my body works or who made it, so could be something that I got from my parents.
Well, I would say technically your parents made your body, but that's a whole different topic.
I don't know where my parents are, Draco.
I understand that. Dracon is going to walk away and sit next to Matthias.
Alright. I will say that Dracon, you are able... Do you have a proficiency in jeweler's kit?
Yes, I have a jeweler's kit. I'm proficient.
Okay. I would say that you can try and make a check with a somewhat high DC to split the diamond that Summerlight has into chunks, into thirds, to have a chunk. Well, actually, to divide it in a chunk of more or less however many gold pieces you want that chunk to be worth. So if you can divide this 1000 GP diamond into two 500 GP diamonds if you wish, and then grind them if you want as well.
Okay, since I know this is going to require strength, can I ask Matthias to help me?
I mean, depends on the DMs.
Matthias, do you have proficiency in jeweler's kit tools, rather?
Ha! No. I have proficiency in leatherworking.
No, you're not able to help with this.
And what kind of check would this be?
Can guidance help him?
Yes. Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Okay, then I'll cast guidance on Draco.
No, wait, I'm checking some... What kind of check would this be?
To split the diamond would be a dexterity check.
Dexterity?
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be strength.
I mean, you're not picking a hammer and
This
breaking
is
this
more
diamond
about
apart.
having perfect precision and perception on where to crack it more and pop it more than actually using super strong power to do it.
Yeah, you have this sort of like a jewel cutting tool that you can use to cut this diamond. It takes time and takes precision, but you don't need strength to do it. So it would be dexterity based.
Should I try it?
Up to you.
Well, Hentai and them are looking for them anyway, so yeah, I'll give it a try.
Remember, guidance.
Okay. So make a check with your jeweler's kit. Make a dexterity plus a 1d4 from guidance. Or is it there already? No, you can still add a d4. 16, alright. How many parts were you breaking it into again, Draken?
I was gonna say, I was gonna just try and shave off like 100 gold worth, just a small bit, so I didn't ruin the whole diamond, because I'm not confident in my.
So you try to shave off a little bit of the diamond. It is a very minute precision work that you have to do. It takes you some time. It's not done fast nor easily. And you're not entirely confident that you cut exactly 100 gold worth of this diamond. You did, however, try to err to more rather than to less, so you feel like it's worth more than 100, but you're not entirely sure how. You imagine that it's like, give or take, some 25 gold extra.
Okay. I'm gonna grind that into dust now.
Okay. Now, grinding each dust is a strength base, but since you have the jeweler's tool and you guys don't have a time pressure on your hands, I'll say that with enough time you can grind it to dust.
But you only grind it to dust,
but you only have one single fillet of this diamond. And
yeah, that's the fillet I'm grinding down.
Okay, and if you're casting greater Summerlight, if you're casting greater restoration on each of Graf's parents, you will need to cast it twice.
Yes, I know. That is why I said I'd need at least 2 days. I only have 1 5th level slot.
Okay. Okay, Draken. So you take some time off your day to go and grind down this diamond into a very fine dust, which is annoying as hell to do. And your arms get sore and you start to get kind of itchy around your arms, and it's definitely not comfortable. And all the Symphonies that kind of come walk nearby you, they look over trying to get a sense of what you're doing, but your incessant grumbling keeps most of them away regardless.
Yeah, you just come here and go, fucking hell, this is a diamond!
So, were we going to talk to the two Symphonine sisters or whatever?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Mora, she went to try and find someone to find her sister, and while that is taking its time, is there anything else any of you guys want to try and accomplish?
Well, if there's room in these side rooms here, Flint will find a nice quiet spot and research and take things apart, put them back together again, all sorts of things for who knows how long.
All right. Yes, I would say that in this room you are. It's fairly big, and there's a few tables and drawers and whatnot. Smaller desks where you can kind of work. They're not proper workbenches, but you can make do with this limited space you have. As you're taking things apart and reassembling them, are you doing that with your with the green helmet that you have found?
Yeah, the crane helmet is definitely one of the things I'm going to be taking apart for reason.
All right. So it does take you some time, quite a lot of time, but eventually you look over your shoulder and you see more walking back with Washe and another Symphony, this kind of taller Symphony male, taller than both of them, that walks back with them, and as all three of them go into the room, they start kind of going through notes and stuff that they have. They pick some books from some drawers here and start going over them. But this taller Symphony that is accompanying them, he approaches you and says, "Oh, what is that, pray tell?"
Oh, there are some enemies I made a while back. They're trying to, let's just say they're trying to use mind control magic to put their own brains inside other people using this thing. I'm taking it apart, seeing how it works, and seeing if I can just do small stuff with it. I don't need to take over other people, that's just wrong.
May I? And he picks up this the remainders of this helmet contraption into one hand, and you see this look on his eyes as he focuses onto this helmet. You see his eyes go a little bit wide, they widen up, and see his stare becomes more intent, and his hands start shaking as he holds this helmet. And then he pulls back, shakes his head, looks at you with this kind of somber look, and tells you, "I need to take you on a journey, if you allow me." And he offers you his hand, Flint.
I'll stare at the hand for a moment, but I'll reach out and take it.
Okay. He grabs your hand tightly and goes back to looking into the helmet. And his stare focuses again into it, and he says, "Look at it, feel it, understand it." And you see that his hands start shaking again. His grip on your hands tighten up a little bit, and you see that he goes into some sort of trance, but you don't quite feel anything, Flint. You just look at this helmet. What are you doing?
He said, look at it, feel it, try and understand it, and that's what I'll be doing.
Alright, make a wisdom check, Flint. A wisdom roll.
You can do it.
Oh. Flint, as you look deeply into the helmet, you feel the grasp on your hand tightens up even more, so much to the point that your hands actually starts hurting, but you don't really mind it as much as you're looking into this helmet. All of your surroundings it starts going dark a little bit. Everything around you, the walls, the floor, the desk, the chair that you're sitting on, all of it starts fading away, and all that remains now is you, this male Symphony that's holding your hand and holding the helmet, and you yourself. And as you look around, everything is dark, but then it starts kind of colors that starts phasing in, kind of uniform and blotches that don't really form any shape, but then slowly they go sharpening and becoming more crisper shapes that start to form, and you start to understand what you see around you. And what you do see, Flint, is the continent of Nolyn. It seems like you're watching it from above the clouds, but there are no clouds, you just see the continent. And you just see that as you look around, you start seeing, you hear voices and conversations, but they don't seem to be coming from anywhere near you. As you look around on the continent, you know exactly where these voices are coming from. Some voices seem to be coming from way up north. Some voices seem to be coming from farther into the coast. And some voices seem to be coming even on the complete opposite side of the continent. And as you look into it, you also feel a little bit odd, because this continent that you're looking on doesn't quite matches the map that you have. There are way more land mass here, but you know that this what you're seeing is the world. And you hear these voices and you can pinpoint all of these voices and in all of these different locations, and you try to focus on one of the voices, and you almost as if you're being pulled in, the world just starts spinning by and approaching to this very far off land all the way into the north, into this frigid tundra region. Snow covers the whole ground. It is very cold. It is snowing. And you do see a little settlement of Kryn in there, with makeshift walls built of fallen trees, a spacecraft landed in the middle, Kryn hunting whatever animals they can find in the region to sustain themselves. And as you look around, you see no other hint of civilization. However, as you're looking around, you do see that this Kryn, they are also led by another one of those Kryn with the helmet. He seems to be commanding the Kryn around and guiding them. Eventually your vision zooms out and then jumps into another place. The world starts spinning and your vision zooms in into another settlement of Symphony, now in the desert. Sand all over the place, with jagged rock and stone formations around, which the Kryn have started using to incorporating some sort of wall around it and making that their little settlement, with a spaceship landing in the middle, no hints of civilization nearby, and another Symphony with a helmet guiding this group. And this process repeats a few more times. In the end, Flint, you are pulled back into this hospital room inside this temple, and you release your grip on this Symphony's hand, and you feel that your heart is beating incredibly fast. But you now have just somehow traveled the world and sensed all of these Symphony that are, in a way, sort of connected to one another. However, You feel that there's a missing link. You feel that there should have been a crane above the cranes with the helmet, but that crane is not present. It seems like all of these crane here are leaderless. They're not chasing or looking forward to anything. They're stranded, just like you are, and trying to survive. And the same Fidane that's in front of you, he just returns the helmet to the table and says, "Oh, it's been a while since I last did that." Then he shakes his head, nods to you, Flint, turns around and starts to walk away.
I'll just sit there flabbergasted for a bit and think about what I saw and get back to work much more vigorously.
And you do. In the meantime, I will say that along with this same Fidang, Washe and Mora, Flint, Fel and Hentai, the both of them do come back. And they do come back and they have managed to find not a same Fidang, but one a dwarf man who used to be a merchant before he was taking refuge. He has taken refuge here in this underground temple, underground city rather. And he has very little wares to sell. One of the few wares that he wasn't able to sell to anyone was diamond powder that he has, and he sells it for he sells it to Fel and Hentai for 150 gold pieces.
So it's 150 gold worth of diamond dust.
Yeah. So, and Fel and Hentai, they come back with that, and they hand it to you, Summerlad. So Summerlad, you can note that you have got 150 gold piece worth of diamond dust, and Draken,
Okay.
mark off that they did spend that 150 gold buying that.
Okay, 150, and Sam add another 125 to that.
So I have 275 diamonds dust worth.
Yes, Sam.
Okay.
At this moment now, you do see both Washe and Mora inside this room with the rest of you, and Mora says, "Here, I found my sister. She can help us understand this a little bit better." And Washe, she just says, "Oh yes, you have the Eye of Clarity. Like I told you before, Summer Lad, that is the key to everything. You carry within you the knowledge of Amphigor, but something has soiled it and made us unable to, and made you unable to fully draw from its powers. There is a ritual we can do to extract the eye, but it'll be a very taxing ritual, but it'll rid you of the curse, and it will also enable you to fully perform your task task that you have, which was given to you by fate.
Okay.
What is the ritual?
And
Wait, you said it could be taxing. Could this possibly kill him? I don't. I mean,
it
I worry.
could. We're not gonna lie. This is a. It could kill you, Summerland.
I see. I still want to try though.
Well, let's talk about it. What it will entail and what you will go through. And Summerlad, as they start talking about what this ritual is, you quickly and very easily understand. It says the ritual of the Crucible Soul tries to extract the essence of of Fenfagor's knowledge, but the knowledge can't exist on its own. It needs to exist within someone. It needs to be within something that is living.
It needs a vessel.
Yes, it needs a vessel, but not quite like something. It needs someone, a living creature, something living, to hold to hold it. Hence why you didn't find this as an artifact. The Eye of Clarity holds within it all of Fenfagor's knowledge, or the possibility to access all of Fenfagor's knowledge, but extracting it would it would not actually extract it into something tangible. It would lift this curse of sorts and allows you to really tap into it. But all of the knowledge influx that you would have access to could be overwhelming for your mind, is the danger that it contains. However, as they keep talking about this ritual, you do recognize it. It was the same ritual that your foster parents taught you and were planning to do before you ran away.
I see. It is quite a distant memory, but it brings me back to my childhood when I didn't know any better.
Lilith, the ritual has to be done to allow Summerlet to reach his fate, is what I said.
Can I insight check that?
Sure. Go ahead and do an insight check. 18. Nice. So, as Mora and Washe are both explaining this to Summerled, mostly to him than to the rest of the group, Lilith, you keep a very close eye on what they are saying and how they are saying what they are on really what's going on, all of the underlying facial movements, body language. Also, how in the world do you have a plus 12 during sight?
I have a +4 wisdom and expertise.
Oh, damn. Okay.
There's your answer.
Fair enough.
I have
Here's
a
your
+5
sign.
to history due to your intelligence rule.
That is true as well. I keep forgetting that you have one single level of rogue that makes all the difference.
Yes.
So, I will whisper something to you, Lilith. Which is what you gather from all of this, from your insight check.
The whispers.
Remember, not Loot Crate, not Dwarven Forge, not anything, because we're not sponsored by anyone except a.
Didn't Loot Crate go out of business?
I don't know, but we are indeed
They did
sponsored
go
by
bankrupt, yes.
We are sponsored by the Knoll.
Everybody support your local knoll.
Exactly.
Because he is a very good boy.
And remember, no carbs, they're keto.
As they finish explaining all of the ritual, Summerlad, you do get the sense that it is the ritual that it would have been attempted on you a long while ago. The ritual that you know your mother was telling you that you should go back and do. It is the same ritual.
I see now. Well, it's worth a shot. I'd like to try that with all, and I'll give it my.
Alright, we will then prepare the temple. A temple for this ritual. We can't really...
Still feel uneasy about this, but...
We can't really do... He can't really do this ritual in this temple. We are still housing many lost souls who need a place to stay and take refuge. But... we can indeed find another place, another temple, perform it there.
Can we get like a estimation on how likely it is that it goes wrong?
As the sisters look at one another, they... Well, we have never really attempted this ritual before, so the likelihood is to do with our lack of experience, truth to be told. The inaccuracies in the lore that we have from old texts that keepers have passed down, and also of Summerlad's own physicality. We don't know what his body has endured thus far in his life, so we can't really give you an estimate of odds and chances, but we will do our best and we will look for all possible answers before attempting this ritual. We will not try it out unless we're absolutely confident but that we can perform it.
If it's in lore books, is there any way I can offer my help with my knowledge of history, maybe sort of cross-reference texts or anything that help them make sure they get this right?
You do see both of them looking at one another. Make a persuasion check, Lilith.
Alright. Plus.
As the sisters exchange a look, they look back to you and says, "This is knowledge of our people that we have kept safe for years and years, but it would be unfair to keep it for ourselves when you yourselves have gone and done so much for us. for without asking anything in return. It's more than fair that we share all we have with you. They you see now Washay starts to pick a lot of books and scriptures and other things that she has to kind of start putting all of them around you on top of a desk, and opening each book and kind of going through bookmarks that she has around places to explain more or less like, this reference that we have on this ritual, this is that story. It is all written in Undercommon. I don't know that you speak Undercommon.
I do not read Undercommon.
I think Fell's available to help translate.
Yeah, Fell just sits down right beside you and says, well, we have quite some time in front of us until Summerlight does what he needs to do. I guess I can help you translate some of this. And I would say that both you, Fel, and Washay, the three of you, sit down and start trying to cross-reference all the lore that they have, while Mora goes off to talk with other temple attendees to prepare another temple to perform this ritual in, and that will take some time. In the meanwhile, is there anything anyone else wishes to do?
I don't think so. Wait, we got the diamond dust, didn't we?
Yes, you have.
Okay, then I'll... Graf, would you like me to heal your mother or your father first? Wait, I don't have the spell, never mind. But I will ask anyway.
I think Mom first. Ma, she'll have a better idea about these things.
Okay, when the time comes, I'll use my magic on her first.
Okay. So Draco?
I was gonna ask if I could talk with Joffredis after I've grinded the diamond down.
Okay. You do find Joffredis kind of around you, coming in and out of the room, as he looks around for something to do but can't quite find anything really to do, so he decides to kind of just lurk around you guys. So this Skander that you're looking for, what is he to you?
He's my mentor. He taught me everything I know. But that's not why I need to talk to you.
Sure. What do you need?
We need to talk. Is here private enough, or can we find a quiet?
I would say that this is private enough. We're all among friends.
I know you want to support making Nolyn a free settlement of their own. Is that right?
Yes. It deserves to be its own kingdom. The Kyria hasn't been giving it any support. The Dark Brotherhood has came and did whatever they wished to do, and Kyria just turns a blind eye. It's not right.
They also don't honor their promises from what I've learned in Dorf.
Well,
and I pull out my my medallion, the one with the Balder seal on it.
oh, so you're from Mythos.
Yep. I am definitely considering throwing my support behind it. just want to see where you were on this. I want to make sure that you're not in for this for your own glory, to gain power or something. I want to know that first.
No. I am in this because I believe these people of the settlers, the people in Nolyn, that they deserve better than what they have been getting.
Insight check.
Of course, make an insight check. Drake and Boulder. 17, alright, that deserves a whisper.
Whispers.
So many whispers today.
Today is the roleplay day. Not so much battle, because beholders are crap. But other than supporting your local Knoll, please support your local Sheppo.
Yeah, support your Sheppos.
Or support the twitching Sheppos.
I don't know that this whispers make sense, but I've sent you. These people, they deserve better. So, I'm willing to do a little bit of sacrifice and make sure that they get a better ending to their story.
I asked him if he's wearing a seal or something. Just out of curiosity. Something that would identify him as...
He is on, he is wearing like plate armor, full plate armor, and he has a cape draped around his neck, and well, it's a cape. It's clasped around his neck with a brooch that holds the symbol of the Aaron family. It's not quite like a super powerful family, not like the Balders, but they are a well-known and well-respected family in Solfak, which is a landlocked region, so you don't see many Solfakians elsewhere, especially here in Nolyn. But yeah, he does have an unofficial badge that shows who he is, and you do recognize it. It is legit. It is a symbol of Solfak nobility.
I pull out part of one of the letters I'm encoding and ask him if he can stamp it with a seal.
Sure.
I just want him to know that... I need to know that they have more support than just you. And just me, that I want to do this. If I can get my father to convince the king, they may have a chance.
Make a persuasion check, Draken.
Oh no, the charisma checks.
Did he push one too far?
Oh no.
I don't know that would be the wisest thing to do right now. My position as a Solfakian noble is pretty concealed right now from my own people, from the other kingdoms as well. And if I were to reveal it with a letter, I could be undermined in a blink of an eye. I would rather keep my anonymity until the right time to strike. I hope you understand. It's not that I don't want to help them, but it's more so that I feel like there's a better way to go about this.
Okay. Fair enough. But thank you for your.
You can say that he is more concerned about the way that you're going about this than than about helping you. He does want to help. He just wishes that it would be better under better circumstances and a better plan of sorts. But you're welcome. I'll try and do my best from my side to help the people of Nolyn. And speaking of which, you do know of the scribe in Dorf, don't you?
I do not know of a scribe in Dorf.
You do know of a scribe in Dorf. You know Arden.
Oh, Arden, the secretary. I didn't know he was a scribe. I thought he was just a paper.
He is a scribe. His function is a scribe. That's how he was introduced. But
Scribes are paper pushers. That's like the definition.
I thought they were just writers.
I mean, same thing, really.
you do know the paper, the scribe in Dorf. He told me of his plans, and I pledged to support him, especially after I had seen what is going on here. And he was looking for someone to spearhead this independence movement, and I believe I have found just a person for that.
Ah, who? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, I would say that we already have a leader amongst ourselves who have gone way and beyond to make sure that their people are safe. And he glances over at Washay.
That could work. Technically, the Sanfedines would be an existing kingdom here, so they would have more standing than anyone.
They are the rightful owners of this country. They were here before us, and they know the land, they know the lore, they know what is going on here. And all of the settlers are settling on the surface, even though the Sanfedine are not very fond of the surface. They will eventually meet one another if the settling keeps going and expanding. And if they rise right now as the de facto leaders of this land, that will stop further conflicts in the future, and they would solidify their position. And they are the perfect candidates. Washay has been leading her people for quite a while.
I agree.
Hence why I say that we need to do this on a decisive moment, not and make sure that everyone is on board, and when it's time we drop the curtains and reveal the whole thing.
Absolutely. This will have to be after the Fivnet, and hopefully the Inquisition will leave after that, so it can be a little easy.
Well, it's good to see that you agree with Washay being the new leader of this land. Now we just have to tell the scribe in Dorf about that, and all the other scribes and members of this independence movement. Make sure that everyone is on the same page.
You could talk to Summerlad about how you want to word it. He may have sending prepared for Arden.
I would prefer to go on my own. I have technically to still be seen around cities is my job as a diplomat. I can't hide in the underground forever. But I'll do my best to stay out of trouble and relay the message as fast as I can.
I tell him after this, if he is heading to Dorf, at any point I'm gonna hand him off encoded letters so they can be sent to my father.
Okay, those would be those letters you sent me a while ago, right?
Yeah, I'll have encoded them with something.
Okay. Right. So you're encoding them how exactly?
Well, it's something that only, you know what, I'll tell you over Discord just because I don't want to say it out loud.
Sure. Okay, so you give, I would assume you give Joffrey these instructions on how to encode these letters and send them to their...
Oh, I'll have encoded the letters and handed him the encoded ones.
Okay, so you already handing encoded letters for him to send to their destinations. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I'll let you know what the encoding is.
Okay. Joffrey, as he picks up all of these letters, he looks them over on both sides and pockets all of them. And nods and says, I'll do my part. But now you have to do your part and be the heroes that, under Washay's leadership, have helped rid the continent of the Dark Brotherhood and whatever else is stopping the settlers from settling this land. Next up, Lilith. As you are reading through all of these passages along with Fel, trying to glean things from the lore, make a history check. Oh man.
26.
Boom.
Okay, alright.
Pack leader has done things.
At this point, you are able to really... You have a very strong grasp on all of this lore and everything that you have learned and been hungrily absorbing ever since you encountered your first underground ruin of the Symphonies, and all of that knowledge that you have been gathering is paying off right at this moment when you look references and you immediately know what they are, and you help the Symphonies, who, despite being keepers of the lore, it has been several decades since they have had contact with the other Symphony settlements. So they still have sort of incomplete information about things here and there that you yourself, with your copy of the War of the Almighty, is able to fill in some blanks and holes. This you were looking for information about the ritual, right?
Yes, they said they had to look up lore to make sure they were doing it right, so I was offering to help cross-reference, find information faster, and look at context and words and meanings, and like I did with the poem with the highlighting and the note.
The gist of this ritual is that it is indeed a ritual to unleash all of Fenfagor's knowledge into the host who is keeping the knowledge. And such an influx of information is very dangerous for the individual, unless they have certain aids that can help them. One such aid that the ritual mentions is the let me check my notes here.
Notes.
Lots of notes. Tag them the notes. The absorption of all of this knowledge, it takes a toll. It has a very deep cost on whoever is using and whoever is unleashing all of this knowledge. And the host, the cost is so high that as they acquire such excessive amount of knowledge, their body withers and ages very fast. And normally you can use many all of the other almighty artifacts. They can be used in a sort of a, I don't want to say overcharged, but you can kind of push them beyond their capabilities to aid with that.
Like a buffer.
Yeah, all of this, all of the almighty gifts, they can be pushed beyond their limits to do bigger, better things. However, pushing them beyond their limits normally imposes some sort of danger to the wielder, unless you have the Stone of Chaos, which you don't have.
We don't have all of the gifts either. We only have 2 of them.
Yeah, we
have the
we have the Ring of Communion,
No.
the Singlet of Communion, and the Sphere of Protection.
Yeah. You get the sense that if you go through this ritual with the and you use the Sphere of Protection of Gafadur to shield you from this influx of information, you could theoretically make it through the ritual unscathed. There is, however, a risk, not to you, them, but to the artifact itself. Risk that instead of you dying, the artifact, the Sphere of Protection, would it would break, so to speak.
Break, like the sphere itself would physically shatter, or it'd lose its magic?
Both. With the Signet of Communion, you could, in theory, speak to Fenfagor itself to ask him for the specific knowledge that you want, as you would be communing with him. Instead of getting all of the knowledge at once, you can get just the specific knowledge that you need. The problem is that you don't know exactly what knowledge you need, so you need the knowledge to know which knowledge you need. If you have all of these other items which you don't have, you could have used them. Parts of the story, the War of the Almighty, it says that with Yabarag's Shield of Zeal, Yabarag would shield you from whatever harm this ritual would cause you, so long as you are in daylight. And once the daylight is gone, you would lose her protection. The Shroud of Reason of Eaglebeth, which you also don't have. It would help you in overcoming death if it came to you. Kind of in a leechdom sort of way. You would have a phylactery, and if the ritual were to kill you, you would not really be dead. But that's not quite a positive outcome here, I don't think. With Hakapfagan's lenses of divination, you could see the future and see many possible variations of the future, and see the one future in which you actually succeed in the ritual and take steps to go towards that specific future. But you don't have the lenses as well.
Okay.
And with Pasperon Amulet of Swift Strideness, which you don't have, Pasperon's Amulet is like the only one that don't quite help that much. It kind of wards you from the kind of wards you from this, but only for some time, and only while you have the amulet going on, and you need to keep focusing on it constantly. The idea is that you kind of outrun your demise, but you can't outrun it forever, so eventually it would catch up to you. But you can help. So Lilith, what you gather is that you could use these two artifacts that you have. You can use the Sphere of Protection to shield Summerlad in case things go wrong. And you could use the Signet of Communion to talk to Fenfegor itself, to ask for the necessary knowledge.
But I don't think we know what necessarily knowledge we have. And I don't suppose the Sunfredine have any of the ones we're missing. Huh?
They don't, unfortunately.
Naturally.
From what they tell you before the some moment during the sunking of the city, a lot of things were lost, including the almighty gifts that were used to be housed in this in the temple where you fought the beholders. And once the sinking happened, ransackings followed, and the artifacts were taken and brought upon the surface. And that was centuries ago. However, you get a much better understanding on the ritual now. And there are ways of warding off the possible dangers of following through with this.
Still makes me very nervous about this thing. This ritual.
Me too. I don't want anything to happen to Sam, and I don't want anything to happen to the artifacts. But it'd be preferable if something happened to the artifacts rather than something happened to Sam.
So, in regards to the Sphere of Protection, it's pretty straightforward. If something were to happen to Summerlad, he instead of it happening to him, it would happen to the Sphere of Protection itself. As for the Signet of Communion, it would enable you to commune with Fenfegor for the specific knowledge. The problem is that you don't know exactly what it is that Branislav intends to do. And each time, the more prolonged your communion with a divine being is, the closer you get to the artifact probably breaking. So the more questions you keep asking, the closer the artifact gets to breaking beyond repair.
Well, that's what we know.
This is a mess.
I can't believe I'm saying this. We might not want to do the ritual.
No, we need to do this. I can't keep running away just because of
What are
them.
we gaining from doing this? I mean, as much as, you know, say that you need to do this, I mean, what are you going to gain out of this that we can't not, that we need so much? Why? That I don't want to go through this when we could possibly lose you.
As Washay, she looks at all of you, and especially to you, Matthias. She nods and says, I understand your concern, but as the lore and the story goes, Igobeth was the only one who knew how to keep Cosme away, and possibly the only one who knows how to bring it back. But once Hakapfagan got that knowledge, it stopped being a secret. And once it did, we know that Fenfegor had that knowledge as well. By doing this ritual and unleashing Fenfegor's knowledge upon Summerland, he will know what he needs to do to beat Cosme or Eaglebeth or Branislav or whatever it is that he's trying to do, whatever they are doing.
Can't we just beat Branislav with like a knife to the throat? I mean, Branislav's still just a human being. He's still immortal.
Yes, it would be so much easier if only we knew what Branislav was intending to do. Since we have no idea what he intends to do, it's hard to know for sure, but one does not collect followers and cultists and brings them to another continent for no reason. He must be planning something big.
Naturally, but the Fivnit's the big date, and if we... I don't know how, but if we got there before and stopped it before, we don't have to worry about what he's planning or what he's doing. But I don't know if we...
Well, yes, that is also a possibility. If we were able to stop Branislav before the Fivnit, whatever he is planning wouldn't happen at all. I don't know that we can, even though Branislav seems to be a powerful arcanist from what he did in back conquering all those people, and from Berg getting so many gargoyles and zombie trolls to fight for him. He would need a lot of people to hold that much control of them. But if we were to go and strike down Branislav, you would need to act now. The Fivnit is fast approaching. And we are running out of time.
Either way, we have to leave now for it.
Well, we haven't had a long rest since the fight with the Beholder, and one of us literally died, so...
By the way, all of these things that you guys are doing and achieving, you are technically gonna spend a day here doing a long rest, and tomorrow morning you would be perfectly able to depart after a long rest. If you wish to do that.
It's up to Sam if we do the ritual. It's up to Summerlad. I can only help the
It's
way I
up to
already
you.
have.
If I were to think of the artifact that we could possibly summon, it would probably be Gaffadur's.
Well, with everything that has happened so far, I think that having the knowledge would be the best thing. I don't want to risk losing an artifact because it's very useful to us, but I'm not quite sure now how to feel.
Summerlad, as you look around the room, all of these 7 faces that have been with you for quite a while now, the way that they look at you and the way that all of them smile when they see you helping them and making sure that everyone is in good top form. I get the sense that they believe you are way more valuable than any artifact that they have found. And you are irreplaceable. And you feel at home with this new family that you have found for yourself.
Well, normally I'd be scared with all of this if I was alone, or maybe I wouldn't even be here. But for some reason, just having all of you here gives me the courage to go through this.
So Washay, she just approaches all of you alongside her sister Mora. So, what do you think? Summerlad, do you want to go through with the ritual? Or do you think it's the best idea to strike down Branislav right now?
This is too much pressure on me.
You're the only one that can make this decision, Sam.
Can you give me a minute, please?
Alright. Both Washay and Mora, they nod. They look around all of you and says, well, in case you do decide to go through with it, we'll keep preparations up. In case you don't, we'll also prepare for that. We'll see who of us, of the people here, are able to fight, and make sure that your way to Lundaland is as swift as it can be. But feel free to rest. You're at home here with us. Let us know if we can do anything to help you. And they start walking away from the room, leaving you guys to your own devices. As you notice now that a lot of people are a lot of chatter starts up compared to the quiet that it was a few moments ago, and you notice that a lot of people are starting to get food somewhere, and dinner time approaches. And you all realize that you have spent almost 7 hours here, just each one of you walking and running around, seeking information, seeking people, seeking solutions to your problems and answers to your questions. And Matthias, you do know now that after all of these hours that you guys have been doing all of this, it is now dinner time, which means it's 6 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's getting to be evening now.
And you know that you still have some time to accomplish things before you guys get too tired to do anything else, and then you can go down, have a good night of sleep here in this room that they have prepared for you, and then go out and do whatever it is that you, being squad, wish to do. So, is there anything anyone else wants to try and accomplish?
I do want to show Groth what I've been working on.
Right, Flint. After all of this conversation and heavy decisions have been put forward, and the air in the room starts growing heavier and heavier as the weight of this decision weighs down on everyone. In the corner of the room, you are there finishing up a new contraption that you have just put together. If you wish to go and tell us a little bit more about your tinkering.
Okay, so it really doesn't look like much, but I did take the communication array out of the thing, and I made a sort of transmitter that I can wear. It's just a wire. Really, it sticks like from the back of my head and goes right to my mouth, but I can talk into it.
And where does it go?
Hey, you stay here for a minute. I'll go over there, and then I'll go to the other side of the room, and then I'll whisper into the transmitter, and Groth, and only Groth would hear, "Hey, can you hear me?"
Yes, I hear.
See, this is what I've been working on. I don't need to take other people's minds. I just want to be able to talk with people if they're sort of far.
Can you reply to that message?
Well, in D&D standards, you can reply to the message.
In your case, Flint, it's not so much that people can respond to the message, but as soon as you don't know exactly the biology of it, but the idea is that when you relay a message into someone's mind, you have this short psychic connection where you can read their surface level thoughts, which would be the answer to the message. So yeah, they can reply if you're talking about the message cantrip.
Yes, a message cantrip.
Yes, they can reply, I believe. There you go.
But that's also not the only thing I've been working on this whole time. I've been looking at my arm and seeing if I can do other things with it.
Like?
Right. Flint will tap a certain pattern into his shoulder, but instead of his left arm looking different, all of Flint looks different, and in front of Grath stands Grath.
You look good as Grath.
Yeah, thanks. It's just a disguise. It's not real, and then I'll immediately go back into being Flint.
That is a quote-unquote spell slot that you would use, right?
Yeah, I renamed Disguise Self Holographic Disguise.
Alright. And there is that thing we discussed where instead of, using spell slots, you spend points.
Yep, so I in theory just used 2 of my 4 Artificer points.
Yes. But all of you can see now that whatever has been going on with Flint, his mind has not gone idle, and he kept thinking and worrying and producing new things, and he decided to put all of these thoughts into the paper and take work into his hands and work on these things and start building it. And you see that Flint, who was until then sort of a novice tinkerer when it came to guns, seems to be expanding his repertoire to other things, and he seems to, after quite a while, weeks after having his arm rusted off somewhat, have built up the courage to start fiddling with it, maybe in an effort to attempt to fix it himself.
That will definitely happen in time. Right now I'm just looking to do things with it before I can actually fix it. And I do have one more thing I did with my I renamed the Firebolt cantrip.
Which you would possibly miss most things.
Probably. I need to redo whatever it is though, because it says non. I rolled a 12. It's just a 12. It should be plus proficiency and stuff.
Yes, that is I'll help you with that. But in any case, you guys do see now that Flint has made some modifications to his arms, and all in all, his arsenal of attacks has grown.
There we go. I'm happy.
There you go.
Don't cantrips scale with character level, or is it class level?
I don't know, actually.
Oh, there we go. 2d10.
I read it scales with level, not class.
Okay, so character level
I was
then.
just asking because the text says 1d10, but it rolled 2d10, so it's also...
Yeah. Okay, so there you go, Flint. You have powerful cantrips now.
I have exactly 2 cantrips.
This is good.
Yeah, I'm trying to just protect everyone,
Yes.
because dying, that was an experience I don't want to do again, and less so for myself and more for everyone I've come to know recently, and more so it's I don't want to leave you alone.
Grath is happy that you have figured out a way that you can become strong.
Yeah, I'm glad to. Anything I can do to protect you. We haven't known each other too long, but you've grown to be very, very special to me.
Flint's special to Grath too.
And Flint will hug Grath right back and kiss. He's still stumbling on words, trying to get his feelings out.
But despite all of that, Flint, the harrowing experience that you experienced some few hours ago. Feels like a long time, but when you really think about it, has not been that long. It changed something with you. It made you realize things that you hadn't before, and things that do scare you, but things that you also feel deep down are good and positive. And it is a big change. It is a huge step for you, Flint, the bounty hunter, to take and accept. But you start striding your way towards them and accepting this change that comes over you, and pondering that maybe getting stranded here wasn't the worst thing that should have happened to you. And maybe you're not actually stranded anymore. Maybe you have just found home. Lilith, as you keep reading the books, searching for more knowledge regarding the Almighty, now that you have a keeper of the lore here with you to really aid you with that, let me see what else you are able to glean. Going through my notes here, just a second.
Because she rolled so dang high.
Heck yeah, like, holy shit.
I got a 26.
You broke the very hard DC.
Highest I can get is 29.
Guidance, I can make it 33.
I don't think you need guidance when you crit.
You can add guidance to any intel roll.
I know, but I'm not. You can add it. I'm not saying you need it.
Really depends on the DM ruling.
Yeah. In any case, you get a little bit more knowledge about not so much the Saint Finance perspective of all that happened, but more so about the whole War of the Almighty, which seems very misnamed because there wasn't actually a war that happened. The Almighties themselves never had a falling out with one another. The big conundrum here is that one of these Almighties betrayed another, who then turned his back to the rest. But all of these Almighties at one point decided that Cosme was a bad thing, and they all decided to strike against it. Lilith, you find very odd information that you don't know exactly how to decipher. Cross-referencing stories about the world from the book and a bit of the poem that says things about the heart of the world, that a world without its heart would crumble. It strikes you as odd, especially when some of the stories in the book they mention this very long period of things like the world itself, civilization, society, creatures, and everything in existence kinda never really changing. But as if that wasn't something bad. But then after Cosmo went away, as the poem said that without a heart the world would crumble, you do start noticing that the book starts referencing a lot more of natural disasters and other such things, like volcanoes erupting, earthquakes happening, droughts, fires, lots of things that completely break down certain parts of the world. Eventually they do righten themselves up. Eventually the earthquakes subside and leave back a destroyed landscape, but a landscape nonetheless. Eventually the volcanoes stop erupting and leave behind a land that can support life still. And it feels very odd that none of these events have ever been mentioned before the War of the Almighty.
Does it mention anything about the Fivnet existing before the war?
It doesn't.
Thought so.
It seems like before the War of the Almighty, whatever it was, there wasn't actually anything bad happening in the world. Nothing was changing. It was just people existing and doing their own things. But after the War of the Almighty, all sorts of disasters and other things started happening, and the Fivnet became a thing. But the way that the War of the Almighty book wrote that down and made it sound like the beginning, the events before the War of the Almighty were sort of like kind of like an utopia of what the world was before the gods decided to come into the world and destroy everything. And it kind of seems to blame the gods for that, but you do get the sense that now maybe the gods didn't break the world after all, or not, at least not directly. It wasn't their warring that caused all these things to happen, because as the poem revealed to you, alongside the Symphony story, there was never any war to begin with.
Yeah.
So the war was a fabrication.
I think the war is more of an over dramatization.
That's a possibility too. I like to think deception.
It's
From the way that the War of the Almighty is written, you do get the sense that they tried to villainize Eaglebeth. Made it sound like Eaglebeth from the very beginning was not a good god and is the one to blame for all bad things that happen in the world. And it also describes the Almighties as a more braver and more I'm lacking a word to describe this, but like a more stalwart races. They describe Yabarag as this very strong human woman, very tall, broad shoulders, like an Amazoness, a warrior of sorts. But as you have seen yourselves in the tomb, where their likeness was sculpted on the lid of their sarcophaguses, Yabarag apparently was a halfling woman.
Did you say halfling?
Yes, I did, and I believe I'm not wrong about that. Let me double check.
Well, I don't know. I just didn't understand what you said.
Yes. Yabarag apparently was a halfling woman, but the story of the War of the Almighty describes her as a tall, strong human woman, and same thing with most of the other, all of the other Almighties, and also corresponds with a lot of art and sculptures and other things that you have seen throughout your travels. Paintings, sculptures, all those things. Any art depiction of the Almighties have had were based on this version. So you get the sense that the book War of the Almighty is basing itself on certain facts, but kind of making its own history with these facts.
It's propaganda.
Come again?
I don't know if it's propaganda or if what's the book? The book, The Adventures of Marco Polo, was never published by Marco Polo. He was in jail, told it to a friend, who, and that friend he was in prison with, who most of their writing career was spent writing Arthurian fiction. So they embellished and made up a whole bunch of things in Marco Polo's stories. So it could be something like that. There's some history for everybody playing and listening and watching.
You do get the sense that from all of the facts that the book does get right, it might be something like that. Embellished and somewhat disguised facts about the history of this land and world. In any case, the things that you do glean is that the real story might have been truly lost, for nobody who was ever alive during that time is still alive. And any records that might have existed either were changed to favor one point of view over another. And even the Saint Fidens, when their city sunk, they also lost a lot of scriptures and information regarding the Almighties. Even Washay herself says, as she's helping you, as Washay is helping you research through the books, she says that only the Almighties themselves knows what truly happened.
All right.
And the other thing that you do glean is this whole thing about the heart, the world crumbling without its heart. It sticks, and you wonder why.
Been wondering that since we got the damn poem.
And the most you get is that indeed, after the War of the Almighty, the world has started to crumble in some ways. But it feels odd to imagine that before the War of the Almighty, natural disasters would have never happened. Regardless, it just strikes you as very odd. And you wonder if there's more to that you don't have the knowledge for yet, or if there is even knowledge that could explain a little bit more about that.
There's too much going on in this episode.
There is, sorry. So much exposition, so much lore. Lilith, make an intelligence check, just for the heck of it.
Oh, great.
You can do it.
I got a 14.
14, alright. When you think back to all of your journey now, ever since it began, when you joined the Bean Squad, up until now, the only people you have... The first people you knew that had information about the Almighties were the arcane academics. But they didn't know much. But one thing that they knew is that Branislav was planning something. And then you found the Symphony, who knew a lot, but still don't know it all. Except that they know that Branislav is planning something. And you can't help but wonder Is it possible that Branislav knows something that we don't?
I mean, it's gotta be. That's the only reason he knows what he's doing, is because he knows something we don't, which is why we need to go to Frauenberg and Bach and Lundeland and find him and find his notes and learn.
Yeah, we need to go there now.
So, sorry, I interrupted you.
I was just gonna say, Sam still has to decide on the ritual.
I've decided.
What is your decision, Sam?
Wow, what Summerlad put in the chat, she would much rather risk his own life than risk the other's life by going against Branislav. So he would much rather do the ritual now.
Okay. So, Washe and Mora, they get together alongside the rest of you and nods to everyone and starts preparing fully for the ritual. And they take you. They start to take you
We
to
haven't
the.
even rested yet. Should we wait until we've rested?
If you want, you can do that.
Well, Sam has the sphere, and I thought all of the stuff we were doing counted as a long rest.
Sure, yes. You guys theoretically have had a long rest.
Well, I just thought that's what you said earlier, Doug.
Sorry, I must have missed that.
No. My idea is that all of these things that you were doing would come before a long rest that you would make, regardless. Just that so you don't leave off in the middle of the night. But sure.
Oh yeah. Right.
Well, I'm
Okay.
just worried about
Understood.
Sam going into a ritual after having that big fight.
So yeah, I would say that they prepare the ritual to perform it the first thing in the morning after Summerled has rested and had a chance to cast Greater Restoration on Graft's parents, or at least one of them. So, sure. All of you decide to tuck in for the night after a long day of working and researching. Most of you are mentally or physically tired, or both, and decide to retire for the night. You enjoy this very good, although different and exotic meal that the Symphony brings you. Lots of mushrooms and roots and other things that grows on the ground. But it's a hearty meal regardless. And after that, all of you go to find rest in this room that they have prepared for you inside this temple to Eaglebeth. And all of you sleep for the night. Maybe not soundly, but they do rest regardless. So all of you go ahead and get the benefits of a long rest.
We don't have to make a wisdom save.
No, you don't.
Darn it! I
Not
was
this
gonna
time.
fail. I had an idea. I was gonna attempt to lucid dream the goddamn nightmare.
You don't have to make a wisdom saving throw, and your dreams aren't restless as it was the night before. They're normal dreams. If there is anything on your mind that is getting you anxious or worried, these things sort of manifest a little bit, but not beyond your usual night of sleep. And all of you start to wonder a little bit about these nightmares that you have been having. But not too much. Regardless, all of you wake up in the morning and start to get ready to follow your friend Summerled into this ritual that he's going to go and perform.
Hey Doug, real quick. Is it safe to say that I could have fixed my gun at this point?
Sure. You could, yes.
Yeah, because that was jammed since before even the Beholder fight.
Oh my. Oh, okay. So yeah, go ahead and.
Which beholder fight?
I think he was talking about fuck you.
Maybe. So go ahead and make your tinkering check to fix your gun. Also, you can use one of your tinkering / artificer points to roll your check with advantage.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Sure. That's not the right tools.
Oh, I clicked the Thieves Tools. Whoops. Can I use the inspiration from last week?
Sure, why not? Make yet another check. Well,
I'm not allowed to fix this gun, apparently.
It spun on 14.
This is sad.
Ugh.
Flint, as you try to fix your gun, there's just way too much going on in your mind, and you mostly spend your time looking down at your table, kind of pondering about the happenstances of the last few hours. But when you finally shake your mind and try to get to work, to really go in and fix your gun, you look around and you realize that you don't have all the necessary materials to fix your gun. And as you think about going out to procure materials, you do remember that you are underground and you don't know these people, you don't know this place, you have no idea where to begin looking to seek materials, so you decide to just give it up for tonight. Get a nice long rest and stay close to your friends and enjoy life.
Yep, I guess I'll have to fix that some other time.
So, if no one has anything else they wanna accomplish for the night,
Okay, I'm back.
welcome back, Sam.
I'm Dracon's just gonna lay a kiss on Matthias and
This is setting things on fire.
So, Draco, you do that and just skitter away?
I just
Yeah, you gotta get.
I pulled a Vax basically.
Alright.
Okay. I'm just gonna find a place to rest and just kind of keep to myself for now. It's a lot on my mind.
And you do indeed have a lot on your mind, Matthias, as you think back to the things that Ansys told you about your family, the reason why you began all of this quest to begin with, all these friends you have made along the way, all the places you have been, and your true goal from the very beginning, which was to find the ones responsible for what happened. And you imagine now, there's so much going on, and you're still a few steps away from truly finishing what you have started. Branislav,
Indeed.
he's the one who possibly commanded that attack on your home village and the one that changed your life forever. And he's so close now. And you ponder about that. And how much you have
That
grown.
bastard. He probably did it all, but I'll get to him eventually. For now, I have more closer things to worry about. Friends here. The fact that we almost lost Flint today. I worry about that, and then now Sam's doing, Summer Lad's doing this ritual. Going to. I'm really honestly against it. So much on my mind. And I try to sleep, I guess.
And you do. Not only you, but everyone else. Tuck their heads in the beds that you can find that fit you guys. And rest comes easy for all of you. And you do wake up the next day, early in the morning. Still, well, much more rested now, but still worried about the implications and about the happenstances that the path that you have put yourselves into, and the culmination of that, where it will lead, and how it will all end. So, Merry Christmas, it's the 25th. But it's not actually Christmas.
There isn't anything like that in the world, in this world, that is there?
Come again?
There isn't anything like that in this world, is there?
There are festivals and other dates, but none around the end of the month. Just a second.
Somebody in the Twitch chat said it's the Holy Bean Day.
It's perfect.
Was that Oni?
No.
No, it was.
It was the eye.
A lot of.
It isn't Holy Bean Day. Actually, you do. Some of you do know that around not today, but 2 days ago, on the 23rd, people in certain parts of the world, more so in Mythos than anywhere else, they would begin their Mythosian traditions of preparation for the Fivenite, where they 1 week before, they spend each day each day praying to one of the Almighties, hoping for good luck and good tidings as the before the Fivenite comes, and all that will happens. Let me check something here real quick. I'm getting my math wrong. Yes.
Don't tell me it's 3 days before the 5th.
No, it's 7 days before the Fivenite.
Oh, good, it's not 5.
No, you mean what? The current date?
I was joking about 3 days before the 5th.
Ah, okay. No, the festival, it begins 7 days before the Fivenite. Each day they pray to a different god. In the last day, they don't quite pray for Eagle Bath. They just kind of accept the 7th day as the day that predates the beginning of the Fivenite, when the sun sets, only to rise 5 days later. And in that day, the day of darkness, they reserve it to Eagle Bath, although there is little celebration to be had, but all the other days they celebrate one of the Almighties. And all of you can't help but to think that well, some of you can't help but to think that celebrations have already begun 2 days ago in certain parts of the world, and you're not celebrating. You're chasing after something much bigger than all of you. But regardless, a new day begins. All of you wake up, and you do find already Washe and more ready to lead you, Summerlad, into the temple where they will be performing the ritual after you're done preparing and taking care of your business and whatever you wish to do before going.
Knowing that, I would probably just do a quick prayer to Gaffadur, just because of habit. You know, like Christmas traditions, you do that sometimes just out of habit.
Make a wisdom check, Draken. You wake up, imagine, ponder a bit about your journey and the path you're on, make a prayer to Gaffadur, who for hundreds of years has watched over your family and your clan and what the Balder name means. And you hope that it keeps going on with or without you, but preferably with you. And you finish your prayers and join the others. So, is there anything you guys wish to accomplish before going to do the ritual?
You're going to do the Greater Restoration first, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna take enough diamond dust and cast Greater Restoration at Graf's parents, at Graf's mother.
Alright. So, Summerlad, you do go and gather your belongings. You start making a prayer to Fenfagor, trying to channel in your healing abilities, making your hands glow with positive energy. And as you touch Lisbeth's shoulders, you try to channel all of this energy into her. And then is there anything special that you do for this ritual?
Well, since this is Graf's mother, alongside having my hand, I'm gonna also have Graf put his hand close to mine.
Alright.
Okay.
So you Graf, as you hold on to your mother's shoulder, you do feel this warm, positive energy coursing through her as Summerlad tries to heal her of whatever ailment has taken over her. And you
Come
can
back, Mom. Come back. It's your time to run.
As you watch over her, her eyes are still distant, kinda not really taking in the room or her surroundings, until Summerlight, you finish the casting of the spell. All of the energy has channeled through her, and now the both of you look expectantly as Lisbeth blinks her eyes a few times, and then with each blink it seems like this placidness that has taken over her face seems to give way through this stern look as her muscles tense a little bit, and she this air of life and realization washes over her, She starts blinking and looking around, very, very disoriented and confused. But eventually she just looks around and one of the first things she sees is you, Graf, standing over her, with her hands on her shoulder. And she just looks up to you, stares at you for some solid 3 seconds without saying anything, before pulling you into a very big and very tight hug as she holds you. And you hear this very soft, kind of muffled cry as she just hugs you and whispers in your ears, my boy, oh, Gareth, I was so worried. Thank you so much.
I pick her up and just spin her around with me and just, you're back.
And before she can even realize, she is now choking and gasping a little bit as she stops crying and starts laughing and smiling very widely as she hugs you tight and spins in air, and all of you guys watch this beautiful scene of a son and his mother reunited finally.
I tell her, I got away, but I thought they had killed you. They had said that they had killed you, and this is Flint.
Oh, hey. Your son is really good, Noel.
She looks at you all now, noticing this big group of people around her. And as she looks to you, Flynn, she says, he's such a good boy. And she holds your head, Graf. Even though you're taller than her, she still makes you feel very small when she puts her hands around your face and starts combing your hair with her fingers and kind of combing your fur all over the place, kind of soften it, giving you a more tidying you up. She does. She just says, "Oh, Gareth, you're my boy. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so very much.
I'm so glad we found you. I had no idea what happened to you. They said you were in Bach, and then we couldn't go there. There were trolls, undead trolls everywhere."
Oh, Graf, we're together now. That's what matters. You see now she's taking deep breaths, kind of breathing rapidly as she pulls back a little bit, still not wanting to take her eyes away from you. But you see as she quickly glances around the room, going, "Oh, Gareth, where is Alan? Where's your father?"
He's here. He'll need to be healed the same way you were healed.
And although it breaks her heart, you do see Mora bring in Alanius as he is completely lost. He's kind of just shambling forward as she kind of helps him by holding his arm and directs him into the same couch where Lisbeth was sitting before, and she sits him down, and he just kind of stays there, looking the same distant look as before. And you just see your mother now running towards him, holding him by his shoulder and his head, and looking at him, kind of examining him. And she just keeps, Alan, please, Alan, our son is here. He has returned, Alan.
It's okay. Summer Lad can cure him, fix him the same way that he fixed you.
And as she looks around and looks at you, Summer Lad, and says, "Oh, what is wrong with him? What happened? Oh, Can you help him?
Yes, I can help him, but just not exactly at the moment.
Why not?
I've exhausted my power to do this for today. I would be able to do it tomorrow, but you're a bit tight on time right now.
Wait, you mean? She looks back to Ellen, who's still there. Is he all right? He's not hurt or anything, is he?
He's not hurt. He's just lost for the moment.
Yeah. She'll be fine as long as there's someone to take care of him while I prepare myself again.
Oh, Alan. You see now she sits beside him and cradles his head on her shoulder and starts rocking back and forth, holding him and saying softly against his head, "Our son is back. He ran like we told him to. It'll be all right, Alan. They'll find a way to help you." And she looks back up to you and says, "Oh, Gareth, you look so different now. You look.
Go ahead.
It seems like you have grown several years since we last seen you."
It's been a while. I've been with another pack leader. I pull Lilith over. She's very smart and good and just.
And Lilith, you do see now Lisbeth looking over at you with a smile on her face, and she says, "And you've been taking care of my son."
We all have been trying to make sure that he's okay, and we've kept him safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should trim his nails. He
taking care of
clacks.
him.
Not the
We've
right
taken care
time.
of him. But also, he's been growing. He's a good Knoll. He's learned a lot.
Yeah. It has been a journey, and I have to say that I'm glad I've met him. He has been a very good person.
As she looks at all of you, take turns telling her and assuring her that Graf has been good. She nods as she listens to your stories and just says, "Oh, my boy, Oh, Gareth, I'm so proud of you. You have made such wonderful friends. I'm glad you're safe. I'm sorry that we weren't able to be with you when you needed us."
But I was there to help you back for all that you've done for me.
And we'll keep on helping you, Gareth. Whatever you need, you always have your parents here. Or at least me for now. We'll always be watching over you. Then you really see she now lowers her head and clears her eyes with the back of her hand. Some dried out tears. Takes a deep breath and puts her hand back on your father's head and keeps rocking him, holding him very close to her and saying, I imagine that you have learned to take care of yourself while we were away."
Yes.
Well, I can't wait to hear all you have to tell us as soon as your father wakes up. Oh, Gareth. I don't even know what to say.
It's just so nice to have you back.
It is nice to have you back too, my son. We'll go back to being a family. Don't you worry. I'll promise you. I won't let anything bad happen to you ever again. And she takes one of her hands and just holds your own. And holds it very tight with a strength you only felt before that one time when she told you to run. And you did. And now she holds your hand with the same strength and says, but what's wrong, my dear? I can see in your eyes there's something wrong. There's something you need to do, isn't there?
There is. We've got to stop this thing from happening. This thing that could basically destroy everything.
She looks around to all of you as if searching for confirmation. And eventually she looks, her eyes go back to you, Graf. And she says, well, that seems like quite a job for you. I hope that you're helping us around the farm and helping your father build furniture has prepared you for this thing that you need to do.
I didn't have much training, but I'm learning as I go.
I know that you're doing your best. You're such a smart boy, Gareth. I know that whatever it is that you want to do, if you put your mind to it, you will accomplish it. Just as you did before. And she lets go of your hand and goes back to cradling your father. And she just seems to kind of be tired, but she doesn't want to show it. You can see that she, whatever has happened to her, it's taxing, has been taxing, and she's still exhausted, but she is putting up a motherly face for you. And she just looks so happy to see you and your friends together. Or rather, to even see that you have so many friends now, Gareth.
It's wonderful that everything is working out. He's all choked up now at this point.
And from behind you guys, Umoria puts her hands on your shoulder, Summerlad, and says, Are you ready now for the ritual?
Summerlad is gonna look over to the party and then nod to her. Yes.
Well,
Sam has the sphere, right?
I do.
Good.
he has the sphere and Hentai has the insignia of communion.
I don't think we'll be using this.
I think we're just gonna use this.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just use this here.
Okay, fair enough. So she calls in one of the other Symphodays who wear the same dark purple robes to kind of watch over your parents and watch over Graf's parents and tell them a little bit about how the temple works, where to go if they need food, if they need help. and she starts guiding all of you out of the temple into the city and down the road, the same road you walked through, well, road and stairs that you walked to come here to this temple. You start walking down this road, making your way up the hill where lies the temple, the tomb of the Almighty, where she leads all of you over there. You can see now that there are many same things in the street, with weapons at the ready and just checking up their equipment and belongings, double checking a little bit before they set out for some place, but you don't really know what place that is. But everyone seems to start to busy up, to do something big. But regardless, she leads all of you into the same temple where you have fought the beholders and killed them, where lays the tomb of the Almighties, all of their sarcophagi in this room. She leads you over there, and you can see now that the whole room has been cleaned of the blood and all other bodily fluids that was spread across the room during your fight. And you can see now that there are many candles and other herbs and other such things set around the room, some paintings in the walls, a lot of makeshift stuff to prepare for a ritual that they're going to be performing. And she, as you approach the center of this room, she looks to you, Summerlad, one last time and says, "Are you sure that you want to go through with this ritual?"
Yes, I do.
Alright then.
Yes, I am.
Summerlad, I don't know you, but I know that our future depends on you. And I hope that this works out. And if it does, thank you for what you're about to do for all of us. And if it doesn't, thank you for at least trying.
You don't have to thank me. Thank the party who gave me the strength to fight this.
She nods and turns to all of you, and she takes her time actually going through each and every one of you individually and thanking you. She shakes her hand. Draken, thank you. She shakes Fel's hands.
You're welcome.
Thank you. She shakes your hands, Flint. Thank you.
Anything for Graf.
She shakes Graf's hand as well. Thank you.
He sniffles.
She ponders a bit before sitting down, giving a few taps on Hentai's shoulders. Thank you for everything. She shakes her hand as well. Lilith, thank you. She shakes your hands too, Matthias. Thank you.
Yeah.
And she now goes back to you, Summerland. Holds you, gently puts her hands on your back and starts pushing you towards the center of this area where they are getting ready to perform this ritual. And that is where we're gonna leave off for today, folks.
This is sad.
You're a terrible tease, Doug.
We couldn't finish the ritual?
I mean, we could, but why? If we can leave a little.
He wanted
piece-
to cliffhang it here for everybody.
You
He
know
is
it.
that kind
Besides.
of doggo.
This will be more intense if Z and Fel are here for next week.
Yeah, I don't want to leave them off for so much, and they have already missed so
True.
much exposition. I want them to be here for the next part.
They're really going to need to watch this
Yeah.
one.
Man, they have missed so much. Meta, you're gonna have too much work writing the archive for what I have.
A lot.
But yeah, boy, so many emotions, so many feels today. Oh boy. In any case, thank you guys so very much for taking your time to come here, play D&D with me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's session. I don't even know. I don't know what your thoughts are on today's session, but it was lore heavy and combat light.
Is there a dry eye in the group?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm somewhat dry.
It was intense.
I'm hurt in the feels, but I'm dry.
Oh no. But yeah, if let's see if maybe next week I can yank a couple tears from you, Draco. But yeah, thank you guys so very much for.
It takes Violet Evergarden to make me cry.
Oh no.
Violet Evergarden, such a good show.
Yeah, Ice is still opposed to this, but he's begrudgingly.
I mean, Matthias does have a point. Theoretically, you don't need to do this whole ritual, but there you go.
We didn't need to do it, but you dangled it in front of our face like a fat, juicy steak.
But he's not going to control what some of us wanting to do. He's just going to put his point in.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta make juicy choices for you guys to go into. Like that, damn. So many preparation went into this. You guys should have expected me to come up with crazy shenanigans. Also, really sorry that Oni isn't playing with us anymore. Otherwise, we could have seen the completion of his personal storyline, which was about Scorned.
What was that about anyway?
It was part of his personal story, that his personal quest. When we began playing, I gave each and every one of you most of you, I believe, a personal quest of sorts based on what you guys told me about your backgrounds, whatnot, and I gave only a story / quest of his own. Too bad he stopped playing with us. Otherwise, we could have seen its completion.
Yeah.
And his investment into it, but since it's a part of the world, and I kind of prepared that already, it's happening. We just won't have an Oni for that part, but it will still happen. And we will see where that goes. But anyway, thank you guys so very much for playing with me. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. And I don't know that we will be having a game. Oh no, never mind. Next week we will be having a game, but on the other week I'll be away, so no game on the other next week. But
Does that mean we get a meta campaign?
There'll be a game on the 11th, but not the 18th.
Yes, exactly. So no game on the 18th unless weird shenanigans happen, but I don't think they will. So no game on the 18th, but I'll let you guys know a little bit more detailed on as it goes. But yeah, just a little heads up. In any case, thank you guys for playing, and I hope you guys have a delicious, wonderful weekend. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Don't forget to turn off Rhythm Bot.
I did already. And to everyone else here on Twitch, thank you guys so very much for watching our game of Settlers of Nolyn, my homebrew campaign that we are playing here on YouTube every Saturday evening, my time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Even though there was no combat to be had, it was a very lore heavy episode that I'm heckin' proud of. If you are still curious
Kinda
as
just
to
gotta-
what the hell was happening, who are these people, and well, if you are overall confused about all the things, make sure to go over to my YouTube page and check out the playlist for Settlers of Nolyn, where you can watch previous games. Well, you have sort of 39 episodes to catch up, but I'm confident that you guys will catch up. And yeah, check them out. That way you can digest the whole story. If not, make sure to check up our wiki, which I don't have a link for, but it exists, where we're compiling some information for those of you who don't have all the time to watch but still want to keep up with this story somehow. In any case, thank you guys so very much for watching. Thanks for being here on Twitch, being super supportive of the show and the players and whatnot. And I'll be seeing you guys next week. Bye bye, everyone.